Oh yeah, this is totally safe. This is how things are done in Bangkok. It's another beautiful day here in Bangkok, Thailand. And today, guys, we're at the Benchakitti Park here in central Bangkok. And what I want to talk to you about is my first impressions of Thailand after being here for 1 month. So now I'm entering the skywalk here in the Forest Park, which is right next to Benchakitti Park. I'll put all the links down in the description so you guys can check it out later. So the first thing really to talk about is gotta be Bangkok, the city itself. I've been here now for 5 weeks and my impressions are generally very good. This is a giant city, 10 million people. It is filled with all sorts of stuff and it does not sleep. So absolutely love the vibe here. I've personally never lived in a city bigger than about 1 million people. So for me, this is quite a change, but I'm really enjoying it. There's always something to do. The city never sleeps and you can find pretty much anything you want. This is actually my first time here at the Forest Park, and I don't know why I haven't come out here. This skywalk is amazing. It just goes in every direction, and you can see that it goes off quite a ways over there and forward, and it's just gorgeous. And down here we have a ton of beautiful greenery. It looks like lily ponds. This is a beautiful, serene place. To have something like this in the middle of such a crazy big metropolis, this is really relaxing. I would highly recommend, if you ever come to Bangkok, to come and check it out. Honestly, one of my most favorite things here in Thailand so far have been the people. I can't begin to tell you how nice everybody has been. I have never encountered such warm and friendly people anywhere that I've traveled in the world before. And everybody's just so warm and welcoming. They've been so supportive. All of you watching here, whether you're an expat, you're in another country, and especially a lot of the locals have been so supportive of me. And I really, really appreciate you guys so much. I can't even tell you. But the people here are just so warm and friendly and kind. I can't even put it into words, but that just makes me feel so good and comfortable to be here. Honestly, it's like I feel like I'm a part of this big family. And that might sound a little bit corny, but that's just the way the people here make you feel. Very welcome and not like an outsider. I really have no idea where this sky trail goes, but I think I'm kind of stuck on it, following it. So we're just going to keep walking until I can get down to lower ground, because definitely want to go take a look there. I find that when you travel to different countries, people tend to treat you in two ways. They either feel like you're imposing on their culture and their nationality and their ways of life, or they welcome you with open arms. And here in Thailand, it's been absolutely the latter. People welcome you with open arms pretty much no matter where you're from. They're so kind. I mean, you can just be walking down the street and people are always saying hello. I've walked down through some of the railroad communities, which all people call the slums, and those are some of the nicest people I have met, extremely warm. And, you know, I just couldn't ask for more as far as the type of people I've encountered here. And of course, we can't talk about Thailand without talking about the culture here. And I'm really enjoying the culture here. And by culture, I just mean the way of life. There's so many things that culture can encompass, and people have such different interpretations of it. But to me, it's just the way people live, what they do, and just having gone around a little bit of Thailand, Bangkok, I've been to Hua Hin, I've been to Phetchaburi, and going to some other places soon. Just seeing people, the way they interact with each other. There are temples everywhere. There are shrines all over the place. And I notice people walking by and stopping to pray, which to me it's very warming feeling. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but the people adhere to culture so much here that it's something that I just personally did not witness in the US or some of the other Western countries I've been to. So seeing that here is just such an eye-opening experience, and just being, you know, engulfed in this completely different culture. If you've ever seen that movie Lost in Translation, it's with Bill Murray, and he goes to Japan and he's completely lost. I watched that movie about 10, 15 years ago, and I love the idea of being lost somewhere. And well, I'm definitely lost here in this big city because I can't read the language. I only know a few words, but it's still a wonderful feeling. So just to be able to immerse yourself in another culture like this, for me, has been extremely exciting. I know it scares some people, but you know, I really feel that we only regret the things we didn't do later in life. So just go out, explore things, and today's the day to do it. You're never too old. It's never too late to do something new. I know a lot of people make all sorts of excuses. Go do something. Go do something that you enjoy, something that you've wanted to try. Just do it today. All right, now let's talk about the obvious thing here, and that is the weather. As you can see, I'm starting to get a little sweaty. I really need to invest in some black t-shirts so you guys think that I'm just playing it cool and that I don't sweat. But yeah, I sweat. And that brings me to the point that everybody sweats. It is hot. It is like a high of 95 degrees every day. I don't know if that's like 38 degrees Celsius roughly. And well, just as I was saying how hot it was, my phone decided to shut down because it's overheating. So I had to hang out under this bridge for about 10 minutes, let the phone cool down. But yeah, like I was saying, the low here is probably around 75 degrees, maybe even 80 degrees, which I believe is right around 34 degrees Celsius. So it is extremely hot, and it depends where you come from. Having lived 40 years in California in a very dry climate, for me, this humidity and this heat is something new, and it's something that I'm having to adjust to. The one thing you have to do is you have to hydrate here. And I know I haven't done enough of a good job hydrating myself. See, I can't even put the words together because right now I've only had one bottle of water today and I need to get some more water. But yeah, absolutely. Hydration with this heat and humidity is crucial. And I'm not talking alcohol. You got to stay away from alcohol on hot days like this. Maybe a beer over ice, but for the most part, lots of water. So absolutely, definitely need to go get myself some more liquids right now, and we're getting near lunch. We'll talk about food in a little bit. I know you're waiting for that. You know, one of the other aspects here that I wanted to cover, talking about my first month here, is some of the mental health aspects. It's quite interesting that you can be in this city of 10 million people and you can still feel kind of alone. And I think that can happen anywhere, especially when you move to a new country. So honestly, as many of you have left me wonderful comments, I've met some wonderful people here, made some friends. There are still times when I feel lonely. And I think part of that is just because it is such a cultural change and it is such a shock to the system to be somewhere where I don't speak the language, I can't read the language, and communication can be kind of difficult and honestly sometimes frustrating because you can't explain to people what you want. So I think we really have to be mindful of our mental health in situations like this. And this is something people don't talk about because they just say, oh, it's just fine, you'll just get over it. But there is the aspect of when you move to have to absorb all of this. And I think it's perfectly okay to feel a little bit lost and to feel a little bit strange. And, you know, make sure you have someone to talk to in a situation like this. Having someone you can sit down with and discuss these things has been really helpful for me because I've definitely had my moments in the first 5 weeks here. I had nothing but problems with my Airbnbs when I got here. There was all sorts of frustration. And I try not to show you a lot of that stuff, guys, because, you know, it happens. It's real life, but I want to show you some of the nicer things. And I'll still sit down and explain to you and show you when I'm having tough moments because that is life with Serg. I'm now desperately trying to find my way out of Benchakitti Park because, as I've learned, there's typically only one entrance and one exit in a lot of these parks, or I'm just lost. That's probably the case. I'm probably just lost. But, you know, just a little bit about the costs of living here. My original budget for my monthly expenses was $2,000. And after my first 5 weeks here, I can say that I've been pretty much right on budget. And guys, if I can ask you a personal favor, if you enjoy my content, if you would take a moment right now to give this video a thumbs up, if you haven't subscribed, please do so and share it with a friend. This helps the YouTube algorithm spread my videos to more people, which in turn helps me make more content like this. I really appreciate everyone's support. Grabbed myself a water from the vendor right outside the park. Yeah, it was 25 Thai baht, which is about 85 cents. Typically, you go to a 7-Eleven and you get them for about 6 or 7 Thai baht. But I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna buy the water. All right, now we gotta go find some food. So we're now inside Terminal 21. It's one of the many malls here in Bangkok, Thailand, and it's a great place to escape the heat. It's air conditioned. There's a ton of food, and as you can see behind me, there's even street food in here today. So this is a great place. It's near me. I come here quite a bit to get food. Let me give you a quick little walk around and we'll go get something to eat. So like I said, there's tons of malls here in Bangkok. There's all sorts of them. There's high fashion ones, there's regular ones. The nice thing about this one, Terminal 21, is it's more of a mid-range mall. It's not filled with a lot of fancy stores. I think it's a little bit more everyday type of mall, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere here. It's like 8 different floors, and it's got a very interesting theme to it, which is a lot of San Francisco, which I find quite exciting because, you know, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. And that brings us to the food. And right now I'm in the Terminal 21 food court. There's many different places here at this mall that you can eat, but this food court is extremely popular. The way it works is you basically get one of these cards and you fill it with some money, and then whenever you go around, you order food, this is how you pay. But as I'm going to show you here, there's a variety of food here, and it's all so extremely affordable. So for instance, at this place, you can see most of these dishes, they're 49 Thai baht, which is approximately $1.50. Cup of cup. All right, so I got myself a strawberry and banana smoothie, no sugar. I still got to get some food, but this is a good way to start, just cool off. Delicious. And this was only 30 Thai baht, which is about 90 cents. All right, guys, so as I was saying earlier, the food here in Thailand, Bangkok, is extremely affordable. For instance, this dish, this is basil pork, there's a fried egg, there's rice, there's some cucumbers here, there's a couple pieces of hot dog. It's just the thing they do here. This whole thing was 47 Thai baht, which I believe is approximately $1.30. So you can go out, you can get inexpensive food like this, even at a really nice mall like this, or you could go and there's a Japanese sushi buffet here, which is approximately 1,200 Thai baht, which I believe is right around $40. So you can spend all sorts of money, and there's restaurants that are much more expensive than this. But let's try some of this and see how it is. So it's just basil, pork, and some rice, and actually, I gotta learn more, eat like the locals. Everybody uses a spoon here. The fork is really more for shoveling your food in there. So there we go, let's get some basil, we got some pork. Aroy mak, that's very delicious. This mall, Terminal 21, I come here quite a bit because you can get a delicious lunch here for, you know, under $2, and I think that includes my drink for sure. So you have so many food choices here in Thailand, and even through the little cities I've been, there's always amazing food, street food, and it's just so delicious. There's probably quite a bit of MSG in a lot of it. I know sugar is used quite extensively, but I'm just loving all the food here. So if you're a foodie, Thailand would definitely be a place for you. All right, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this meal, and then we'll talk about a little bit more of what I think of Thailand after my first month here. Now let's talk a little bit about transportation and traffic here in Bangkok. As you can see behind me, this is one of the busiest intersections here where it's Sukhumvit, and it's crazy. I mean, this is daytime. Wait until it gets to be nighttime and the traffic starts flowing because people are going home. But the transportation system here is pretty good. There's obviously taxis like Grab, there's Bolt, there's the SkyTrain, there's the MRT, there's buses, there's motorbike taxis, which I took earlier, and all sorts of things. But as far as traffic goes, when it gets to rush hour, or just in general, it can be really crazy. It took me 45 minutes yesterday to go 5 kilometers. But you do have to be careful crossing the roads because pedestrians do not have the right of way, and the cars will definitely not stop for you. So as I mentioned, Bangkok is just a huge metropolitan city. As you can see behind me, it spreads for miles and miles and miles, or I should say kilometers, and adapt to the metric system here. You know, it's one of these places where you can find anything you're looking for, and you can also not find what you're looking for. I think if you're trying to escape something, you're not happy with your life, moving to another location, it might not really solve it for you. You know, you have to find happiness and love within inside of you. Again, it might sound a little corny, but escaping to another location doesn't always solve the problems that you have in life. Having said that, I think this is a really wonderful place. I'm really enjoying living here. I've been here for, like I said, about a month and a half, not quite, 5 weeks, and it's it's been everything I've wanted it to be. Sure, it has its problems. You know, if you have any kind of mobility issues, the sidewalks are pretty hard to move around on, especially if you're in a wheelchair. Yeah, like I said, there's obviously some language barrier, although here in Bangkok, most people speak English, so it's not that big of a deal. You know, finding some certain products that you like, that's going to be kind of a problem, so maybe bring some things that you like from home. So in a nutshell, at the end of my 5 weeks here, I can happily report that I'm extremely happy that I've moved here to Thailand. Bangkok's been a phenomenal city. I've enjoyed exploring it. There's so many other locations in Thailand that I'm looking forward to explore, and I'm going to bring you guys with me. I've got all sorts of really cool stuff planned, so I hope you'll stick around and join me. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video, and I hope you give you a little bit of an insight of my thoughts and feelings about my first 5 weeks here in Thailand. I'm going to put up some of my other videos up above, and if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. Don't forget to hit the like button and share the video with a friend of yours. And until next time, guys, as always, please don't forget to take care of yourselves.